Hello and welcome. My name is Brian Hudson. I'm the district manager here for our team in the Buffalo area, and I'm super excited for you to be able to get started with training, and I'm looking forward to working with you as well. Let me go ahead and share my screen, and we'll dive right in. Again, welcome not only to Vector but also to our team here as well. And let's go ahead and dive in. Each of you will get a verification email, so keep an eye out in your inbox for a verification email from us. Just verifies like your name and like the spelling of your name is correct and things like that. But just so, just so you know a little bit more about me, again, my name is Brian. I've been with the company since May of 2016, and at the time, I had just finished up my freshman year in school, in college, and I had gotten like a random piece of paper in the mail. I wasn't really sure what it was, but I just decided to check it out. I was like, hey, the pay seems cool. I saw that they offered flexible schedules. I was like, that's sweet. I already had another job working here or working lawn mowing over the summertime. So I was like, hey, I need something that's flexible, but also more importantly, I needed something that would build up my resume and allow me to work on building up my skills while I was still in school because I knew mowing lawns was not going to be enough on my resume, coming senior year in college. So I like the fact that here I was able to gain those skills, build up my resume while being flexible around my other obligations I had going on. And then whenever I did decide to work, I was going to make great money while doing so as well, which is pretty cool. So I really like that. So I started back in 2016. And fast forward 9 years later, I'm in a leadership role. My job is essentially to find great people to add to our team, and I'm mainly responsible for the for our sales rep and management development here in Western New York, which is pretty cool. Okay. Now, on a personal note, my girlfriend Kate and I, we love traveling and exploring new places. We're always down for an adventure, and we're also pet parents of the sweetest boy Miles. He definitely keeps our hands pretty full, but he's just a little fluff bear. But yeah, in your notes or in your head, take a guess at how much Cutco you think we sold last week, not just as an office here, but as an entire company. So how much Cutco do you think we sold last week? So get a number that you're thinking. How much Cutco do you think we sold last week? Now, if your guess was $10,000, I hate to break it to you, we did not sell 10 grand last week. If you thought we sold $100,000 worth of Cutco, that's a heck of a lot of knives. If you thought we sold $100,000 worth of Cutco last week, we did not sell $100,000 worth of Cutco last week. Last week, check this out, we sold over $4 million worth of Cutco as a company last week. Okay. Now the reason why I share this with you is when we're first starting out because I'm not sure if this happened with you, but I know when I told my parents, "Hey, I'm going to be selling knives," my dad was like, "Brian, who the heck is going to be buying knives?" Right? People already have knives, right? But my point is that we sell a whole heck of a lot of Cutco on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, and on a yearly basis as well. Okay, so again, as a company, we sold over $4 million worth of Cutco last week. Okay, so we sell a ton of Cutco weekly, monthly, yearly as well. Keep in mind, last year we sold over $300 million worth of Cutco as a company, which is pretty cool. Okay, so we sell a lot of knives every single year. Now, we usually do about 250 to $300 million worth of Cutco annually, but since 2020, since COVID was our first $300 million year. And then since then, we have not sold anything less than $300 million, which is pretty cool. So I think we're eclipsing that $300 million consistently on a yearly basis, which is pretty cool. Okay. Now, as a team, last year you can see here that our team we did just over $600,000 in sales for the year, right here in Buffalo. And then this year we're on pace to hit our goal of $750,000, which is pretty cool. Okay, but my number one goal as a manager is not that our team sells a lot. While we do that, of course, but more importantly, my number one goal is our individual team members. So you are growing personally, professionally, and financially while working here with us, and you just work on becoming the best version of yourself. Whether you're with us for a short period of time, or a long period of time, you're just working, and growing personally, professionally, and financially. Okay, so that's my main goal: is that you are working on becoming the best version of yourself, regardless, like I said, whether you're with us for 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, or 20 years. Okay, you're just working on becoming the best version of yourself. All right, so with that, you might be wondering, like, how the heck do you guys sell $300 million worth of Cutco, right? That is a lot of knives. Okay, so if you don't have your notes out ready, make sure you do have your notes out because I want to walk you through as to why we sell so much Cutco. Okay, So definitely a note-taking section here. The first thing is that Cutco is the number one rated kitchen knife brand in the United States. That is not my opinion, and that is not a wish or a hope. That is a fact that we sell more kitchen knives than any other kitchen knife company in the United States. Okay. By the way, we've been number one most sold knife company since the early 1990s. So for the past 30 years in a row, we've sold more kitchen knives than any other knife company in the United States, which is pretty cool. Okay. So that's number one, is that we are number one rated. Second thing is Cutco is something that can buy once and never have to replace. So it's the last set of knives that Mr. and Mrs. Jones will ever have to buy. Okay. We're going to talk a little bit more about the forever guarantee throughout training, but essentially, if they break it, if it chips, it cracks, it melts, the customer, they get a new one for free forever. Okay, which who do you think appreciates that? The customer, absolutely, right? The customers really, really appreciate that. Think of if you had like your phone, right? Think if you knocked it off the kitchen counter, the screen cracked, you'd get a new one for free, right? That's Cutco. That's a Cutco guarantee. Okay, so like I said, we're going to talk a little more about that throughout training, but essentially, the guarantee covers pretty much anything and everything that could happen to Cutco, and it's covered. Okay, so it's a very unique guarantee. There's not many companies that have a guarantee like Cutco, and it's one of the reasons as to why we sell so much. Okay, so put a star next to that for the forever guarantee. Next is that Cutco is American made. Our factory is right down in Olean, New York, so right along the western southern tier of New York State. So customers also love the fact that we are American made, which is cool. And we've also been around for a very long time, been around since the 1940s as well. Now, Cutco also saves customers a ton of money because it allows them to cook at home more often. Okay, so they spend way less money when they are cooking at home versus going out to eat, right? They also spend more time with family and things like that as well. They eat healthier as well. And I obviously understand that people don't need Cutco to cook at home, right? Like there's obviously people that are cooking at home that don't have Cutco, but why don't they do it as often? Is it's because they don't have good products to work with at home, right? When something doesn't work very well, you're not going to use it very often, right? Think if you had like an old car in your driveway or like an old computer, like how often you're really going to be using it? Probably not that often unless you have to, right? So same thing with cooking utensils is if they don't have good products at home, they're not going to be using them as often. But with Cutco, it makes it that much more enjoyable, much more of a better overall experience to be cooking at home. Okay, so so yeah, they're going to be cooking at home more often, so it saves a ton of money. They're eating healthier, they're spending more time with family. And it's something that people can pass down generation to generation as well. Okay. So as we go throughout training, okay, I don't want you to just think like, oh, it's just knives, like, oh, it's just Cutco. No, what does a customer get when they buy Cutco? They get peace of mind knowing that they're never going to have to buy knives ever again. That's awesome, right? So the last of the knives they'll ever have to buy. They also get peace of mind knowing that they're going to be eating healthier. They're saving tons of money and they're owning the best of the best product in the entire industry. Okay, so when people decide to buy Cutco, they get a lot out of it, right? So that's kind of what I want you to get out of the section is it's not just knives, it's not just Cutco. No, they get a ton of value when they decide to buy Cutco. Okay, and I'm sure some of you can relate to this, where on the left here you have the full watermelon for $3. Okay, and then on the right, okay, you have like a third of the watermelon for $9. Okay, so let me ask you this: why do people buy the one on the right? It's more essentially for convenience, right? Because watermelon is not fun to cut. But I know with our melon knife, I can rip through the watermelon in like 30 seconds, no problem. Okay. Again, it comes back to people having good tools at home. Okay. When someone doesn't have it, they just go for the convenience. Okay. And if I own Cutco, I'd be excited to go home chop up the watermelon. Okay. So by the way, check out this price difference, right? $3 for a full watermelon versus $9 for a third of the watermelon, right? So if they want to get the full watermelon, they're gonna have to get three of those packages just to equate to the amount of watermelon they normally get. Okay, so they're spending $30 for the same exact product. But ask yourself this: what one tastes better? Definitely the fresher one. What one's fresher? Obviously the full watermelon. What one's better for you? Also the full watermelon. And what one costs less? Obviously the full watermelon, right? So that's just, by the way, watermelon, okay, where they're saving 10 times what they normally would pay. Okay, so and that's anything in the produce section like pineapples, mangoes, lettuce, breads, also chickens and meats as well. Okay, so think if customers can save 15, 20, $30 per grocery bill over the course of the month, that adds up to be a couple of $100 that they're saving just by buying full foods, right? Over the course of a year, that ends up being a couple hundred, a couple of $1,000. But then over the course of 10, 20, 30 years, customers are saving tens of thousands of dollars just by opting to buy the full watermelon versus the pre-cut up stuff, right? Because they have good tools, because they have Cutco at home. Okay. So again, over the course of 10, 20, 30 years, people are saving tons and tons of money when they buy a set of Cutco, when they buy Cutco in general. Okay. Which is pretty cool. Okay. So that's kind of what I want you to go into training with, that is that mindset there. Okay. Now, if you're nervous, just understand that that's totally okay. That is what training is for. I know some people, when they start with us, they are super nervous when they start here with us. So if that's you, understand that that is okay. Some of our best reps were the most nervous reps on their first day. I think of people like Sarah Federico, for example. She was so nervous about working here that she almost didn't show up to her last day of training, which thank goodness she did, because she's now over $200,000 in Cutco career sales, which is pretty cool. Okay. So if that's you, like I said, that's totally okay. That's what training is for. Now, most people they're pretty confident in our program. We obviously sell tons of knives, but they're unsure of how it'll go for them personally. That was me when I first started. Like, I was excited but nervous at the same time. I had no prior sales experience. I was just excited about showing Cutco, and I just wasn't sure about how it would go for myself because I never had any prior sales experience. So I was like excited but kind of nervous, right? If that's you, understand that that's completely normal, and you also do great. Now, if you're on the opposite end, if you're like extremely confident in our program, you might think that, hey, I'm going to be selling tons of Cutco and you're absolutely going to crush it. If you might have a friend that works here, or maybe you're just your family's owned Cutco forever and you have zero doubt about doing well. If that's you, just don't be overconfident and don't think you don't need to learn anything throughout training. Obviously, still take lots of notes, work hard throughout training, and follow the programs, and good things can happen. Okay. Now, um, lucky for you is whenever you are watching this, you are starting at one of the best times of the entire year to sell Cutco, because there's never a bad time to sell Cutco. Okay. What are people always doing? They're always eating. They're always, cooking, right? So they're always in need of knives. So there's never really a bad time to sell Cutco because people are always eating, right? So I'm excited for you to be able to get started. So officially, welcome to the team. I'm excited for you to get started here, and excited to work with you as well. Which, by the way, we have a great team here in Western New York. We have one of the best teams in all of New York State, and we have a lot of great people from different backgrounds and walks of life. Okay, you can kind of see our team here. We have a lot of great different people and individuals on our team. Okay, just to highlight a few, we have people like Izzy. Okay, Izzy, she worked with us last summer. She's a student going to University of Pittsburgh, had zero prior sales experience. This was essentially what she did over the summertime, was just selling Cutco. She did pretty well. And she sold, I want to say, about 25, maybe 26 to $27,000 worth of Cutco last summer. Made about like 5, 6 grand selling Cutco. Pretty, not like, she didn't work like super full time, but it wasn't like part time either. Like, she worked pretty consistently, right? She was very, very, very consistent, which is pretty cool. She made great money over the summer, built up her resume, and really has done well here. Okay, we also have people like Cole here. Okay, now Cole, he only worked with us for about 2.5 weeks before he went back to school, or before he went off to school to Coastal Carolina. And so he didn't have a ton of time to work, but during those 2.5 weeks, he worked hard. He sold over $15,000 worth of Cutco, made more than 3 grand in those 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, and he worked, for a very short period of time before he went off to school. Okay. We also have people like like Zach on our team. Who Zach? He was probably one of the busiest guys on our team that I think we've ever had. He had 3 other jobs in addition to this job, so he technically had 4 jobs while staying in shape for lacrosse over the summer. So he was super super busy. He worked on a very part-time basis with us, and Zach, he obviously he made some money working here with us, hit a couple of promotions, and really built up his resume and his skills over a summer break as well, which is pretty cool. Okay, so we have a lot of great people from different backgrounds, different walks of life. But the main thing I want you to understand is that every single person in this picture that you see, including myself, right? We all started at the same place. We all started at $0 in career sales where you're starting right now. So just think that if they can, I can too. Okay, because what's cool is that they have each of them all have the same product that we work with, right? We're all selling Cutco. We all are about to go through the same training. We all had the same training, okay, and we have the same manual that each of these individuals work with as well. Okay, so think if they can, I can too. It's pretty cool and pretty exciting. All right, so like I said, we have a great team here in Western New York. I'm excited for you to be part of it. Now, just to run through the agenda, ignore the time. I'll just run through what we'll cover throughout training. Over the course of the 2 days, 3 days, for you here. We're going to go through some expectations of the job. Hey, what can you expect from training? What you can expect from the position. We'll walk through some keys for success. Okay, this, by the way, is not a test kitchen. We're not testing this out to see if it works. No, Cutco has been around for 75 plus years. We sell $300 million worth of Cutco on an annual basis. So this is a proven program that works. We're going to teach you how to do it. Okay, and if you work hard, you'll have success here as well. Okay, so we'll go through some keys for success. We're going to walk through about the first 85% of the presentation and like the first set of lessons. Okay, so we're going to go through the majority of the presentation. And the cool thing is you don't have to create anything, right? We already have the slides of like what to show. We already have the manual of what to say. You just have to put your personality and personal touch to it. Okay. We're going to walk through your paychecks. So walk you through how to get paid along with how to maximize your paychecks as well. We're going to teach you who our best customers are to show, which if you just had to think to yourself, who do you think our best customers would be to show Cutco to? Right? People that like to cook, families, okay, married couples. Yeah, absolutely right. So just think, it's not like your 18, 19, 20-year-old buddies. Okay, they don't need knives. All right, we'll talk a little more about that here shortly. But I know the company's done a lot of research on like who buys Cutco and who doesn't. I'll share a little bit more about that here shortly. Okay, but we'll go through who our best customers are to show. And then we're going to go through all of the different sets and prices that Cutco has to offer. Now, Cutco, we have 10 different sets in 10 different set options for people to choose from, along with obviously customizing their own options. So we have big sets for people that love to cook or entertain all the time, all the way down to smaller sets for people that just like have to cook. And then, like I said, they can of course obviously customize. You kind of a la carte. Pick their own options of what they'd like as well. So we're going to walk through all of the different sets, all of the different prices that Cutco offers as well. And like we talked about, someone could spend as little as $4 on Cutco if they really wanted to, while some spend thousands. But most of our customers spend between $300 to $500, depending on obviously their cooking needs. Okay, so we're going to walk through all of that throughout the course of training here. Okay, and then again, ignore the times. Okay, but we're going to go through your sales rep agreement, basic do's and don'ts of the position, along with your sales rep agreement to get paid as well. We're going to go through how to create your schedule. Okay, so we'll teach you how to do that. We'll also give you some time to phone jam throughout training as well, where you're able to make some of your first few calls and get your first initial presentations lined up. Okay, in your notes, maybe star this or make it like a side note of this. But as soon as you finish training, okay, you want to complete your first 5 demos as soon as possible. Okay, that way you can apply what you learned in training as quickly as possible. Okay, so you want to complete your first 5 demos as soon as possible, which we'll go through that. We'll go through like a brainstorming session and we'll obviously teach you, how to line up your first few presentations as well. But you just want to apply what you've learned throughout training. Okay, it's kind of like if you play sports, right? You might really be relate to this, where if like you learn to play, first week of the season, but you don't implement it until like halfway through the season, how well is that play going to go? Probably not too well, right? Versus if you learned it the first week of the season and you implement it in that game that week, obviously it's going to go a lot better. So same thing, you just want to implement what you've learned sooner rather than later. Okay, so we'll give you some time for that. We'll also go through your Fast Start prizes. Okay, your Fast Start, by the way, is a contest. It's your first 10 days working with us. It is called your Fast Start contest. I'll jot that down too. But it's your first 10 days and you have the chance to win some incredible prizes. You're not competing against each other, by the way, or anyone else. You're just competing against yourself. Okay, so you have the chance to win some cool stuff, and we'll go through what those levels are as well. Then we're going to teach you how to gain and how to ask for recommendations, how to get recommendations. Okay, super important there. We'll also teach you how to submit orders as well. Super simple though. It's kind of like Amazon shopping. I'm sure all of you have probably bought something online, but we'll just teach you how to enter in orders from there. All right, so I want to share a short video that will just go through how Cutco is manufactured. Okay, so take some good notes here, and then I'll have you kind of highlight your top takeaways afterwards. But take some good notes, short and sweet, 2 minutes.
Since 1949, for millions of families across the country, the right knives are Cutco knives. Cutco knives are made right here in America, always have been. And today, hundreds of Cutco team members craft each knife with an artisan's eye for quality and detail. This level of craftsmanship is one of the reasons that every Cutco knife comes with a forever guarantee, a powerful promise we've stood behind since our founding in 1949. That means your Cutco set will be the last set of knives you'll ever need to buy. 10 years, 20 years, even generations down the road, Cutco will sharpen your knives and replace any defective item for free. No one else does that because no one else is Cutco.
They stand behind their product, which is very rare. And they're an American company, which is even better.
It's a lifetime warranty, so I did have the experience of having it once replaced with no questions asked.
Warranty on a knife that we've had for over a decade, and we've had a couple knives replaced that have been damaged. It was very easy.
Cutco can make this guarantee because of the unique patented design and the meticulous multi-step construction process that goes into its knives. It's what makes Cutco unique and a cut above all others in quality, durability, and user satisfaction. Cutco puts each blade through a 3-step heat treating process, creating the best balance of hardness, flexibility, rust and stain resistance, and edge retention. After that, the blade is meticulously polished to enhance rust resistance. And then comes the secret to Cutco's sharpness and durability, the exclusive Double D recessed edge. This process creates a series of 3 razor-sharp edges on the blade, with pointed teeth that protect it from contacting surfaces that might dull the knife. The Double D recessed edge allows the blade to cut forward, backward, or straight down with equal ease. You can cut virtually anything, which makes food preparation easy, fast, and fun.
All right, so in your notes, take a look through, and I just want you to star your top 1 or 2 takeaways that you really got from that video. Okay, I know a lot of people usually say something along the lines of like, "Hey, I really liked how it was manufactured. You know, I like the heat treating process. I like the unique Cutco Double D edge." So go through your notes and just start your top 1 or 2 takeaways that really resonated with you or just stood out to you. Okay. Now, just to explain something, or kind of show you the difference between the different types of edges. In your notes, just draw a straight line, like a horizontal straight line across, and next to that, jot down the word straight. Okay, that is a straight edge. Okay, so the straight edges, we'll talk more about this throughout training as well, but they need to be sharpened up constantly just to remain effective. Okay, it's recommended, by the way, for most other knife companies that they're sharpened before and after every single use. Which, can you see Aunt Lisa or Aunt Susie sharpening up her knives just to use it? No. So what ends up happening is most people, they end up using dull knives. Okay, and in your notes, jot down that a dull knife is more dangerous to use on a sharp one because you have to push harder. Okay, so that's a straight edge knife. Those stay sharp for less than a year. You can make a note of that as well. So it's edge type number 1. The next type of edge I want you to draw is kind of like shark teeth. Okay, just a bunch of jagged edges. Okay, so that's called a serrated edge. And the tips on there is what does the cutting. There's actually no sharp part to that edge. And once after years of use of rubbing on like glass, granite, marble cutting boards, things like that, those tips are eventually going to wear down. So what's left is just the actual serration and no sharp parts. So they're just not going to work effectively anymore, right? So for them to work again, you can't like put metal back on there. So for them to work again, they just have to rebuy it again. Okay, so they're going to have to constantly buy them over and over and over again. Okay, so those will stay sharp for about 1 to 3 years. Next type of edge I want you to draw is the Cutco edge. So I kind of look something like this here. So draw a, kind of like an angle and then a straight line and then an angle down and then another one and then straight down again. So that's called the Cutco Double D edge. And what's cool, okay, is between each of these 2 points here, okay, there's a straight edge that cuts forward, backward, and straight down. So that allows Cutco to cut cleaner, finer, and faster than any other edge out there. You can kind of see the serrated edge there, right? You can kind of see between each of these points here, there's an edge that cuts forward, backward, and straight down. Okay, so that's a Cutco Double D edge. And what's cool is that these tips here, okay, these will still round out when they're cutting on like the hard cutting surface, okay, but because the sharp part is actually protected, the sharp part will actually still be there when the tips round out, okay. So the sharp part is still left, which is pretty cool. Now, on average, Cutco will stay sharp for 7 to 10 years. Can you see why people love buying Cutco so much? Right? They stay sharper much longer. They work much longer as well. Okay. So this is pretty cool. We do Cutco. We do different events in the area, like the Erie County Fair. We have a couple different booths there. Buffalo Home Show, the New York State Fair, and just different like fall festivities in the or not fall festivities, just different events and festivities in the area. Around it. And we have people that come up like, oh my gosh, I love my knives and I love Cutco. And we're just asking like, hey, how long have you had it and what do you like about it? So that's one of these lists here. It's called our happy customer list. You can see some of these people here, owned it for 12 years, love them, 10 years, love them. I can't really read backwards, but you can just see, kind of take a look through here, right? 14 years, 20 years, okay, 52 years, that's incredible, 30 years, right? It's just people that we've seen. You can, if you read some of these comments here, every single one of them is going to be, I love it, right? Love them all. Still have them. Awesome. Still work like new after 30 years. Cuts like a charm after 15 years. Right? Love it. 10 years. 57 years. Lady said that they're wonderful. Okay. They're always sharp. There's nothing like Cutco. And the best after 30 years, which is pretty cool. Right. So what you'll notice is that whether somebody's owned Cutco for 2 years or they're brand new to the family, or 40, 50, 60 years, is that they all love Cutco, which is pretty cool. Okay. And you can also jot down in your notes that across America, 1 in 6 homes owns Cutco, which is pretty cool. Okay, so 1 in 6 homes. So you take a walk down the street, you pass 6 houses. More than likely, one of those 6 houses owns Cutco. In some cities, that's 1 in 5, and then in some neighborhoods, that's 1 in 4. Okay, but 1 in 6 families across America owns Cutco, which is pretty cool. So we have obviously a lot more Cutco to continue to sell, right? And like I said, I know we'll talk about this throughout training, but this is kind of like our guarantee here, quick. A couple 4 parts to it, right? The for performance, if they're not completely satisfied, we'll send it back for whatever reason. Forever sharpness, right? So if anything ever happens to their Cutco, all that we have. We'll talk more about the guarantee in training or throughout training as well. But we have a 4-part forever guarantee. Okay. So with that, I want to talk about a couple keys to selling Cutco. There's 4 keys when it comes to selling Cutco. So jot these 4 things on down. Those 4 keys, by the way, number 1 is to follow the manual. And follow it word for word. Okay, so just follow the manual word for word. I know when I first say it might sound a little weird, like, hey, I thought this was sales. I thought you wanted a lot of eye contact. The answer is no, right? Because when you have a good product, what do you want them focused on? You want them focused on the product and not yourself. Okay, so you want the product to sell itself, and Cutco, sells itself for sure every time. Okay, so you just want to follow the manual word for word. Okay, and also follow it like, or as you read it, read it with some enthusiasm and a smile. Okay, don't read it like a robot, like, hello, Mrs. Jones. No, add her personality, add her personal touch to it. Read it with some enthusiasm and a smile, and you'll sound really good. Okay, so that's number 1, is to follow the manual. Second key when it comes to selling Cutco is to be yourself. Okay, so jot that down, be yourself. Don't try to be somebody else. We brought you onto the team because we think that you have the personality or the potential to be someone that does really well here with us. Okay, so be yourself. Don't try to be somebody else. All right, that's number 2. Number 3, have fun. The more that you have fun on your demos, the more that you will sell. Okay, so have fun, be yourself, smile, and have fun. That will lead to more sales. And then number 4 is to show Mac customers. Okay, show Mac customers. They are our best customers to show. Okay, now Mac is an acronym. The M stands for married. So jot that down, married couples. Why do you think you want to show married couples versus a single person? Right? Married couples, they have a dual income. They likely have kids or a family to cook for. Versus like your single uncle, he's not going to be cooking up a 3-course meal for himself every night. Okay, so generally speaking, you want to show people that are married. Okay, now if mom and dad aren't together, obviously you don't have to show mom and dad together. Okay, you can show mom, you can show dad. Okay, but you will generally want to show people that are married. Of course, there are exceptions, but these are just our best customers to show. Now the A. Okay, the A stands for 30 plus, so age 30 plus. Now, why do you think we want to show people over 30, right? Versus like someone in their 20s? Again, they're more established, they have more savings, right? They do more cooking in general. Okay, again, there are exceptions, but we generally want to show people over 30. And then lastly, the C. Okay, the C stands for casa. And that means that someone owns their home. It's Spanish for house. Okay, so why do you think we want to show homeowners versus someone that rents? Again, same thing. Someone that owns a home, they're more established, more settled, right? They also make frequent home upgrades as well. Okay, and especially the kitchen is the number 1 area that homeowners spend the most money on. Okay, versus somebody that rents. Hey, we're going to be next year. We're going to be living it next year. I don't know. I might be here, might not be here, right? So again, that's like our best target market to show is people that are married over 30 and owns a house. Again, there are exceptions, of course, right? But generally speaking, you want to show people that are over 30, owns a home, and are married. Okay. Now, bare bones minimum, what you do want to shoot for is you at least want to show people that are over 30 and working full time. Okay, so that'd be like bare bones. You at least want to show somebody that's married and working full time to at least have a shot of selling Cutco. Okay, now of course, if you have a buddy that's like 19, that's big into hunting and fishing, and you buy some of our hunting stuff, for sure you can sell that to him. You'll still make the commission, but generally speaking, you just want to show people that are over 30 and working full time. Okay, anytime you sell Cutco, you make the commission, of course, but your best chances those that are over 30. Okay. So I don't want you to just take my word for how good Cutco is. I love Cutco. I think everybody should own at least some Cutco. Okay, I'm pretty passionate about the product itself, but I want you to hear from other people of what they think about Cutco. Okay, so another video here.
When was the first time you bought Cutco? How long ago was that?
It was about 15 years ago.
I've had Cutco for 32 years.
15 years. I'm new to the family.
Since just before we got married in 1954.
We probably bought our first Cutco when I first got married, so that's been 44 years ago.
It's been decades.
Since 2005.
I bought my first pieces in 1985.
Well, I bought them in 1968.
About 3 years.
Exactly 4 years.
4 years, I think. About 4 years.
4 years.
5 or 6 years.
At least 15 years.
I would say like 15 years.
I want to say 17 years.
Well, the knives have been in my family for 70 plus years because they purchased them before I was born.
What do you love most about your Cutco knives, would you say?
I like the quality of the knife itself.
The durability, and that they'll last forever. It's just starting to get dull after about 4 years because I haven't sharpened it.
They're very durable. They last forever. They stay sharp.
They're just so sharp.
They're sharp. They'll cut you if you ain't careful.
They stay sharp for an extremely long time.
This is the first time that I know of in 70 years that they've been sharpened. And they work almost as good as the new ones that I bought a couple of years ago from Jeremy.
I can get them sharpened for free every year.
I'm looking forward to just the service, the warranty and stuff.
They look good on my counter, my block.
They haven't gone out of style. I've only had one break.
They just stand up really well through the dishwasher, through everyday use.
The lightweight.
They feel good in the hand. There's a knife for the particular job that you're going to do.
They get the job done. I would own every single one of them if I could.
So when I heard a couple people like, oh yeah, I've had mine for like 15 years or 20 years or 30 years, I'm like, okay.
Have you continued to buy more knives since that first purchase?
I have. My son started selling them when he was in college too.
This is my, I think, third time.
Probably only 3 or 4 times, but I'm to the point now that I'm buying them for gifts.
About 3 or 4 times.
At least 6.
8 or 9.
Probably going to pick up 1 or 2 today.
That they are my true friends. They show up for me.
All right, so just like the last video, go through, highlight, star your top 1 or 2 takeaways from that video. Again, and I'm sure some things that that you realize or you just took away from that video, right, is everyone has had it for a very long time. Okay, whether it's 2 years, like a couple people that are just brand new to the family, Cutco family, or they've owned it for 50, 60, 70 years, right? There's a lot of people that are 15, 20 years as well. And when they all talk about Cutco, I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but when they talk about it, they're all smiling about it. They're all happy when they're talking about when they're talking about Cutco, and they just all love it, right? They all love the product. Kind of like I mentioned earlier here, regardless of how long someone's owned it, they all love it. Okay, which is pretty cool. There's not many products out there where you have that type of just customer feedback and the love for Cutco as well, which is pretty cool. Okay. Also, last thing I want to mention is that those people there, they all looked like Mac customers. Okay. I know you can't really tell if someone's like married or not, but that is our target market. Okay. If you're wondering like what a Mac customer is like, that's our target market. Okay. That's who we want to show Cutco to. Married couples over 30, and own a house or work full time. Okay. And you kind of think to yourself, like, hey, those just look like average everyday Americans, right? That's who Cutco is designed for, is average everyday Americans. Okay. And again, we'll talk more about this throughout training. Okay, but just to kind of show you here quick, we have all different sorts of sets and different things like that. You can see these are some of our bigger sets here that we have. Okay, these are for people that love to cook or entertain. And then we also have much smaller sets here as well, or some starter sets as well, which we'll go through. There's a couple that aren't on here, but we'll go through all of the sets in training there. And just to show you some of the pieces quick, right? We have a couple of the small fruits and veggies pieces. We have a sandwich knife. We have a medium meat knife. We have a melon knife. Okay, this is the one with the watermelon I was talking about earlier. We have our chopping knife, our bread knife, our holiday set. Okay, so this is we'll talk about this set here specifically. And then we keep going, right? And we have people can get all sorts of different types of knives that we have. Okay, so then there's even more on the back. Okay, so Cutco has 200 different types of products that we work with, from obviously kitchen cutlery being our most popular, but we also have pots and pans, we have flatware, we have some outdoor gardening tools, which are awesome. We have some hunting stuff, we have some fishing stuff, and we have a little bit of everything. Okay, so we'll talk about all of that throughout training. I just wanted to showcase and highlight some of the those products here in the opening video for each of you there to see. But yeah, Cutco's awesome. Like I said, I love Cutco. I think everybody should own at least some Cutco, and throughout training we'll teach you how to sell Cutco throughout the course of the lessons. Okay, now. When it comes to the actual training, okay, I want you to jot down this site. Okay, I'll put it in the chat box. I'm not sure if it'll open up or not, but it's bit.ly, so bit.ly /SBuff, so like South Buffalo, just abbreviated. So SBuff training videos. So SBuff training videos, you can kind of see it up here in the URL. So that's where you want to put it. So bit.ly /SBuff training videos. It'll also be in the email. Should be in the email that I sent you as well. So if not, click there. And this will bring you to our YouTube playlist for training. Okay. So what I want you to do is you want to work through each of these videos. So I think there's 30 or so, 34-ish, 35-ish. Okay. I don't expect you to do them all in one sitting. That'd be a lot. Okay. But the way I would work through the training is I would watch a set of 4 lessons. Okay. So I'd watch 4 or so, then take, stand up, take a break, run to the bathroom, grab some food, grab some water, whatever you got to do, and then come back and watch 4 more. Okay. So you'd watch 4. You can skip over, if you'd want to, you can skip over the first 2. Those are the only 2 I'd recommend that I will give you permission to skip over, because that's pretty much what we did here today. You can start with lesson 3 if you want, or if you want to check out those 2, you totally can. It's no problem. Other video you do want to watch, don't skip any other videos aside from the first 2. So let's say if you start with lesson 3, okay, so watch 4 videos, stand up, take a break, grab some food, grab some water, whatever, come back, watch another set of 4 videos, okay, watch another set of 4, so on and so forth. Okay. Now with the training, since you are doing it independently, right, you want to stay focused and stay engaged throughout the training. Okay. What you put into training will be exactly what you get out from training. So if you're just playing the lessons just to play the lessons, and you're watching Netflix or cleaning up around the house or doing whatever, you're not going to get very much out of the training, right? But if you're focused, if you're engaged, you're going to get a lot more from the lessons. Okay. So again, what you put in is what you're going to get out. So stay focused, stay engaged throughout the lessons there. Take lots of notes, and then jot down any questions that you do have. Okay. So yeah, aside from that, all right, again, you want to go to bit.ly/sbuff training videos. That'll bring you to this site here. And whether you start with lesson 1 or 3, either way, totally fine. If you want to work through those, that's cool. If not, that's totally fine as well. But like I said, start with lesson 3 at a bare minimum. And then as you'll notice too, some of the videos, okay, they might sound like it's really sped up.
Last 3 keys. This is in your notes. If you could...
Okay, so if it goes too fast, we just did it for time purposes. But if you want to adjust the speed, I'd recommend changing the playback speed to 0.9. Okay, and that'll be a much more normal speed.
You can write down 3 keys
to
making a sale. So I gave you some keys like how to do well with the job.
Dane's about to share 3 keys to making a sale. So obviously watch this full video. I was just where I left off last time. But yeah, so that's training. I'll dive in, take great notes, and we will talk with you soon. Enjoy.